Let's go. Episode 2 of the podcast. Welcome along, Shano.
Evening, Tomo. How's you, mate?
Yeah, all good, all good. Here we are, rocking and rolling again. Another busy weekend of sport. And if you are new to the channel, we are planning on uploading every single Monday. So if you like your sport, you might want to consider subscribing. But yeah, all good, ready to go. You?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy week though. Been working as usual. You know what work's like. Working a Sunday, into a Monday. Just don't know what week it is, to be honest. But yeah, definitely we had a busy weekend of football, busy weekend of sport.
Absolutely.
Obviously, I was quite happy last week, top of the table, and obviously it was different kettle of fish to this week. So I'll let you start. Obviously, the Man U. I know you're a big Man U fan, Tom. The subscribers might not know that as yet, but big Man U fan. You might as well tell me what happened this weekend.
Got 2 words for you, matey.
Go on then.
Cristiano Ronaldo. What a lost of words, mate. Honestly, he's played in Portugal. Obviously, we signed him from there. United, Real Madrid, scored more goals than games. Juventus. Well, I know they didn't have a great season as a team last year, but I think he still scored the most goals, still had the most shots. Comes back to England, fairy tale return. Watching it, and honestly, mate, just his desire to keep on scoring goals. I know that you see the first one was a tap-in, yeah?
Yeah, but I mean, any goal's a goal at the end of the day, and I think that started off, didn't it? I can't get from Ronaldo. It's how old he is. What is he? 36.
Yeah, 36, 37 in February. But what I mean is, I know it's a tap-in, but just his desire to still get in the right positions to score the goals. So if keepers make mistakes, he gets easy tap-ins. I think he's incredible. And I think if you're any young player and you've got the ambition to be a footballer, you just need to just follow him, watch what he does, how he lives his life, off the pitch. I think, he's just a true professional, brilliant player. And honestly, United, mate, we look absolutely brilliant. And I think, no disrespect to Newcastle, we would have beaten them with or without Ronaldo. But I think it was a perfect game for him to come back to United. We had a lot of possession. Pogba pinging the ball around. Oh, Bruno Fernandes's goal, well as well. What brilliant finish! Even Jesse Lingard getting on the score sheet. Yeah, just brilliant, mate. I'm so pleased for him. He said in the post-match interview he was pretty nervous, and they said to him, did you think you'd score? He was like, yeah, no, I thought I'd score. I didn't think I'd get 2, but I thought I'd get 1. So yeah, no, fairy tale return. Yeah, and I think with him being back in the club, the chances of us doing something this season has gone up massively. A lot of people were saying, he's 36, not going to have the same impact as he did before, but I think it just goes to show in that one game, still got the pace, still got the desire, and with all those other players around him, Pogba, Fernandes, Rashford when he comes back, I know he's injured, Varane, Maguire. I think we're just a different side. But the only problem is, of course, everyone else is strengthened, mate. Do you know what I mean? If this happened last season, I'd have said, yeah, win the league. But I don't know. I think it's going to be a close one. But so excited for the rest of the season now.
I think he brings he sort of instills confidence in the team, doesn't it? I think it's almost like you had a little bit of a swagger, didn't you? It's like he's come back and he's got the goal, he's got the second goal. But definitely, I think absolutely. What he's done is he gives instills a confidence, and it's almost like you might believe now that you can challenge Man City. Do you mean? And that's a big shout to say that. But they've got the quality, and all of a sudden now maybe you've got the belief that you can do something. I suppose it's when you come up against the big guns, that's when it will always come to light. And I think he's a big game player. So I think where you might have missed the big game player in those big games against Liverpool, Man City, do you mean with Ronaldo? I think you've got an opportunity. You've got a chance at least. But I mean, at the end of it, it's a game, isn't it? Do you mean we can't get carried away with it?
Yeah, that's it, mate. As much as we look good against Newcastle, they're probably in a relegation battle. Let's be honest. I know all the fans, well, a lot of the fans don't like Steve Bruce. But yeah, Ronaldo back at the club, mate. It's got to be a massive, massive uplift for the players in the dressing room, all the young lads coming through. I think people like Pogba as well. There's always that speculation about him going, in every single transfer window. I think when you see Ronaldo opposite you in the changing rooms, mate, it's got uplift everyone's morale. So yeah, looking forward to the future, mate. One game, so I'm not getting too carried away, but remaining optimistic to say the least.
Yeah, I wondered if I wondered what how the egos would react in there. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got a few in there now, and I'm just curious as to see how the dynamics work out through the season. If anyone starts throwing the toys out the pram, or if they stay as a unit. If there's a stay as a unit, then I think good chance. But I think if egos start coming out, that's when we might see some cracks.
I think with Ronaldo in there though, as much as he's a massive ego, I think if it was anyone else, if they had signed, any other player, maybe. But I think with him at the club, arguably the best player ever. Can you really challenge him? I think he put everyone in line and get everyone working hard. Optimistic, mate. Buzzing for it. Buzzing for the rest of the season.
Yeah, and it's if Ole Gunnar if he can sort of keep it all together. I think that's the key thing. But like I say, if he can, and they all stay as a unit, I mean, you've got as good a chance this time as any of sort of like competing. And you was a bit off previous seasons, but I think this may well be your chance. And I think you've got to do it while you've got him, to be honest.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think all those years ago when Leicester won the league, it was Tottenham's opportunity, wasn't it, to win the league? But obviously, you didn't. I don't want to remind you of that, but I know what you're saying. Absolutely, this is a time, probably last maybe great season. I know he's going to slow down at some point. That's why Usain Bolt is not going to win the 100 meters every Olympics. So he's going to slow down, but fingers crossed, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, well, anyway, we got next week to go. It could all go pear-shaped next week, and that's football. That's the thing.
That's the thing. I don't want to say too much because if we go and flop next week, you'll be on the case. But yeah, enough about United. Let's move on to the next team. Is that Tottenham?
Yeah, we might. Well, let's move on to the Spurs games. Obviously, disappointed with the Palace result. I think obviously I look at a lot of Twitter and a lot of online sort of forums, and when the team was called out, and you had, for instance, you had Højbjerg, Skip, and Winks in the middle of the park. Yeah. Automatically, we're thinking, well, Jimmy, there was a bit of uproar online. It's like, well, who's going to create the chances? And I think it pretty much proved when you run the three of those in the team, you can't create the chances. But if you take Son out, if you take Bergwijn out, it just the dynamics of the game it changes. And I think a lot of people probably looked at Nuno at that point and thought, well, we did have some players in reserve that we could have picked out. We could have put Ndombele on. We could have put Brian Gill on. We had enough players in there, creative players, to go and do something. So it was a bit of a surprise that they went with the three in the midfield. Emerson Royal, he started right back. And to be honest, to have to do your debut against Zaha, it was, do you mean, it's like a baptism of fire, that one was. But he didn't do too bad, to be honest. And I think the turning point really was the Tanganga, was the sending off.
What was he doing, mate? He looked like a crazy man. He had obviously yeah, honestly, I think he should have gone initially. When I was watching, I think he's gone. No chance he's down on the pitch. And then what 2 minutes later, jumps in. So what are you doing?
But yeah, I think that was the thing. I think he's sort of like, he was well up for the game, and he's well up for sort of manhandling Zaha. I think the handbags was a little bit naughty anyway between the two of them. Yeah. I mean, it was, to get the yellow just for that, it was one of those things. But like what Ferdinand said and all the pundits said, someone should have got around him at that point and said, look, calm down.
Yeah, keep your head. We're top of the league. This not a must-win game, but I suppose teams like Palace, with the greatest respect, you want to be picking up 3 points. But exactly. He did lose here. But I think Wilfried Zaha, he had a really good game, really strong, unplayable at times.
Yeah, he had a good game, and then obviously the sending off that obviously then changed the dynamics of the team. I think Nuno was looking to bring on Gill prior to the sending off. Then he had to throw in Ben Davies, and then again there was no creativity. I couldn't really see at any point that Spurs were going to go forward and score. And then the salt in the wounds was Edouard coming on for Palace, scoring the 2 goals.
Yeah. What a debut, mate. You think he got the quickest goal in the Premiership from a sub, something like 25 seconds.
Yeah, I think he got on for the first touch to get the knockdown. Then he made it into the box to get the return ball, puts the ball in the back of the net. But I think Spurs were looking at buying him, like in the transfer window, but they didn't just pull the trigger. It's one of those. It's the one that got away, isn't it, Tom?
Didn't you sign him from Celtic?
Celtic, yeah, he's coming from Celtic to Palace. But I think Spurs were looking at him.
I've got another little stat here for you that you might like. You may have seen it, but Harry Kane, no shots on goal. Harry Kane, no touches in the box.
Yeah, exactly. But this was the thing: if you're going to play a midfield that can only play sideways balls, it's never going to go forward to Harry Kane. So I think I used to work for an head chef, and this head chef said to me once. He said before, he said, "Look, I don't mind you making a mistake, Shane. You can make 100 mistakes. Just don't make the same mistake." So I'm hoping Nuno, he just won't play those three in the middle of the park again. He just can't do it. I mean.
Yeah, no, I agree. It's a bit like United, great result. Don't want to get too carried away, but on the flip side to that, 3-0. You didn't look like you got off the bus. Bad day in the office, and obviously if you're hoping it was just a bad day in the office, if you win next week, it's
big game in Chelsea next week. It's a big game.
Is that at your place or theirs?
It's at our place, but it's a big game to bounce back to. But I think,
they look good as well at the moment.
Yeah, they did look good, to be honest. I think we'll touch on them shortly, won't we? I think we had the Brentford game, didn't we? Brentford-Brighton.
Yeah, I watched it. I've not loads to take away from it. I think Brentford need to start taking some chances. In the Championship, they could maybe get away with it because finishing weren't as clinical. But yeah, they need to pick up a few more points. Great start though. No tragedy just yet, but. Brighton, late on winner.
No embarrassments. They've done Arsenal already, haven't they?
So that was the first game of the season.
That was a good feather in the cap for them. And to be honest, the game against Brighton, it was quite close. They had their chances, and then obviously the Brighton got the late goal late on. So
yeah, good finish, wasn't it?
Yeah, well done to to Potter's team. So
yeah, 3 points in the bag. It's games like that though for Brighton that I think they'll look at those and think must win games and ticking the box for Brighton, mate.
Yeah, what's his name? Graham Potter. That's the boy. So he's done well as a manager. He's a good manager. I do rate him. Then we've got the Leicester game, Leicester Man City. Now that one was tight. I thought Leicester were in it all the way. Obviously, you had the Vardy goal disallowed, and to be honest, it was a close game. It could have went either way. So if we're still thinking about Man City running away with things on current performances, they're sort of grinding out the results. They're not putting the performances in like Chelsea or Man U or Liverpool, are they?
Yeah, do you know what? Watching that Vardy goal you referred to as well, it was almost too good to be ruled off, but obviously it did. But yeah, City full their possession. Do you know what I think City were missing at the weekend?
Harry Kane.
Harry Kane, mate. Yeah, honestly, all this lovely football, it's amazing, but they just need to get it to someone that's going to put it in the back of the net. And I was watching it thinking, all these chances that had Harry Kane, they probably would have won that comfortably. But yeah, it was a very close one. Obviously, City got the win in the end. But I don't know if they can go another season without an out-and-out striker.
Yeah, I think January they will go out and get someone. I don't think they'll run the risk of going the full season without putting someone in there with replacing Aguero. I think it's something they've got to do. Do you know what I mean? It will be a gamble if he thinks he can go through the January transfer window, not buy a striker, bring one in. I think it will be a massive gamble, and it will probably cost him the league because again, we're looking at Man U, we're looking at Liverpool, and we're looking at Chelsea, and they've got the ability to score goals.
Yeah, absolutely.
A lot more than one goal a game. Do you know what I mean? So
yeah, that's it. It's all well and good beating your Norwiches and your Brentfords and your Brightons 4-5-0, but when you're coming to teams like Chelsea in the Champions League, they need someone to put the back in the net, ball in the back of the net. So I totally agree with you, matey.
Yeah, I think any team in the top 6, top 7, do you mean it's not as easy, and that's what they'll find out. So I think they'll go out and spend money in January. I'd be interested to see who they can buy in January. Do you know what I mean? Because people want top money for any striker during the January transfer window, but we'll just have to see what Pep does, really, to be honest.
Yeah, that'd be interesting. be interesting to see what he does. But yeah, you're right. It's not the best time to buy a player. But that's why, going back to our first episode, they should have just gone all in for Kane. Jack Grealish, great player, but they've got plenty of attacking options. Harry Kane would have been the cherry on the cake, matey.
Yeah, or even they should have had they should have had a reserve, really. Does it mean they should have had a plan B to go all out for Harry Kane and then not put him in a bag? You really would have thought that they would have had a plan B in, because, like we pointed out, it looks like they do need a centre forward, and they will need a centre forward to go and win the league and to win the Champions League. I think that's a definite. We can't say anything other than that, to be honest.
That's where I think Chelsea. That's what. Yeah, sorry. That's where I think Chelsea. They've done some good business, gone out and got Lukaku, and he just looks razor sharp. Honestly, at that first goal, took it really well. Chelsea as a team looks solid under Tuchel, and just a second one as well. Gets the ball under control, absolute bullet. The way he hits that ball, and even his appearance now. I saw a picture when he was at United, compared to when he signed for Chelsea. He looks like a different person.
Yeah, he looks like a tank. The boy looks like an out tank. He's a centre forward that will just bully you. Do you mean he absolutely bullies centre halves, and he just rolls you? Do you mean he pushes you to the side? You got to be so strong to be able to deal with him. Do you mean this? And again, I think this is where Man City have fallen down, haven't they? Chelsea have gone out, they got Lukaku. Man, you've gone out, they got Ronaldo. Do you mean? Liverpool, they've obviously got Salah, Mane. They've got the people up front, and I still can't get my head around it, Tom. Why they haven't done anything? And it's just amazing me, to be honest. It amazes me.
Yeah, no, it surprises me as well. But going back to Chelsea, you think all the opportunities they missed last year. I think it was Werner. He was guilty of it a lot. Created great opportunities, and the amount of balls you'd put wider over the bar. But now you've got Lukaku. He's just going to put those balls away, and I think game changer for Chelsea.
Yeah, I think just in total, I think like the players that Chelsea bought in last season, obviously they needed time to gel. They are now gelling. Do you mean that's the thing? Werner, Pulisic, Havertz. They are beginning to gel, and they are beginning to look a bit of a team, which is, to be honest, is a bit of a nightmare for a Spurs fan, because we just don't like to see Chelsea doing so well, to be honest. But do you mean you've got to say they are? I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they ain't playing well, they're not performing. And it pains me to say it. It makes me feel a little bit lumpy in the throat, to be honest.
Yeah. But don't get too emotional, mate.
But we've got to go for it.
I know you've had a long weekend.
Yeah, credit where it's due. I think we'll give it credit where it's due.
Yeah, they look strong. There's no denying that. Yeah,
and then you've got the Watford Wolves game. Wolves come out 2-0 winners on that one. And again, to be honest, they didn't look too bad. But at the end of the day, they're playing Watford. And it was one of those.
Watford are struggling as well. I think I wouldn't be surprised if they went down with Norwich. And I think it was known goal, wasn't it? Because Wolves weren't scoring many. So the lad from Watford put the ball in the back of his net, doing Wolves a favour. But and then of course they got another one. I think it was a little bit scrappy, but when you're not scoring, you'll take anything. Yeah. So 2-0 win for Wolves. Early days. But yeah, we see how they get on, because of course you've got their old manager now.
Oh, Nuno, yeah. Well, that's the thing with Nuno. We need to see what he's going to do. As I say, from the Palace game, I'm just hoping that he learns from the mistakes. He puts either Ndombele in or he puts Gil in. I don't think Son will be back for the Chelsea game. So if he puts the same three in midfield again, I'll be totally surprised. I can't see him doing it, to be honest.
Yeah, well, like we were saying earlier, hope for your sake, you hoping it's just a bad day at the office. I think any team can have a bad day, and also as well, Crystal Palace, I think they were due a win under Vieira. They mixed up. They played some good football. Obviously, didn't help you win a man down. So we'll see what happens next weekend with Tottenham.
Well, I fancy a win against Chelsea next weekend, so I'll put me out on that one. Tom, you know me as a Spurs fan.
Well, you're beaten City already, so you know you never know. Honestly, football now is so unpredictable. I have a bet occasionally, and I don't know why I bother because I think, oh yeah, that'll come in, and I'll never win anything.
Yeah, you've done this Soccer 6 then, Tom? Sky Soccer 6?
No. Do you know what though? Having said that, my stepdad a few years ago was one goal off winning the $250,000. One goal.
No.
But he
Yeah.
didn't.
Yeah, I do it. I've never won it. Do you mean never won it? Never come close. That's one of those.
I don't win anything, honestly. I think I won at bingo once with all the old girls. Uh, but yeah, no, betting's difficult. You know, going back 10 years, you know, as a banker, these big teams beating the smaller ones, but now on any game, any team can turn over another one. So yeah, don't bother anymore, mate.
Nah, it's a mug's game betting.
Absolutely. Who else you got on your list then, Shano?
On the list.
Yeah, next fixture.
Oh, that's us. We've done the fixtures, haven't we? We had the Leeds Liverpool game. That was the last one.
Okay, let's comment. I've got a little question for you before we start that one.
Okay.
So Salah scored his 100th Liverpool goal at the weekend, yeah?
Yeah.
Name at least 3 players that have scored 100 goals in less games than Salah did it.
And how many did he get?
So Salah scored 100 goals, yeah?
Yeah.
I can't remember how many games he did it in, but there are 5 players that have done it in less games than he's done it.
In the Premiership?
Yeah. I can only remember 3 of them off the top of my head, maybe 4. So a little quiz question for you. Thought I'd chuck that in for you.
So we've got Ronaldo in there?
Nope.
We've got Kane in there?
We've got Harry Kane in there.
We've got Kane in there.
Boy.
We've got Henry in there.
We've got Henry in there.
We've got him in there. We've got Shearer in there.
We've got Shearer in there. That's 3. I know there's 2 more, but I can only remember the other one.
Chris Sutton?
No. I don't think so. I don't think so.
Who are they? Do you know?
The other one that I can remember is Aguero.
Aguero, yeah.
Yeah, what a player.
Yeah, what a player. Not bad going at all. So,
no,
who's talking?
Yeah, they look. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, the Liverpool game. Just quickly on that. They, as much as it pains me, they look razor sharp going forward. Mane could have had a hat trick. He missed a few. He's on 99 goals now as well, so nearly on the 100. Trent, playing really well. So yeah, they're definitely going to be up there. I know it was against Aston Villa, but yeah, all the same, looking good.
Yeah, I think when you're playing Leeds, I think if you're like an expansive team and you're a free-flowing football attacking team like Liverpool, a game against Leeds is you're always going to score goals. You've got the opportunity. You can always get back behind the Leeds. So, they're always going to press you and press you high. And with the speed of like Mane and Salah, they've always got the chance. I think it's when the teams sit back. So when Liverpool come up against the teams that are going to sit back and sit deep and a low block, that's when I think they tend to find it a little bit more difficult to get through. It's sort of like a grind to break a team down. As soon as they score that first goal, Liverpool, and the team has to come out, that's when they come out the traps and they do you.
That's the thing though, isn't it? With Leeds, they've got that one way of playing, which sometimes gets them the result. But like you say, when you're playing against Liverpool, they're going to cut you open in a couple of passes. Maybe he needs to mix it up, but again, they seem to be one way, or no way. But yeah, Liverpool look right at it, razor sharp. They look as good as they were a couple of years ago. I think last year, of course, with a massive injury at the beginning of the season, weren't the same. But yeah, they look good. Shame about Harvey Elliott though, the young lad that I don't know what he's done with his ankle. Have you heard anything about that today?
I haven't heard anything, but yeah, it didn't look too good for it when he went off at the end of the day, did it?
No, it didn't. But yeah, I obviously wish him a speedy recovery. No one wants to see players get injured as much as I don't want to see Liverpool win. Don't want to see anyone get injured. No. So yeah, hopefully he comes back sooner rather than later.
Yeah, defo. So we was thinking about, obviously that was the roundup of the football. Obviously a lot went on. It was like a good weekend. But I was curious as to sort of like if you could pick 3 sporting sort of points of the week that's gone past. It could be anything. It could be football, anything to sport, what would you pick out as like your main points?
Yeah. No, absolutely. Yeah. So we after our first podcast, we spoke about maybe, having 3 picks of the week each. Anything sports related, not necessarily football. So my first pick has got to be, I know we've touched on this earlier, so I apologise, but Cristiano Ronaldo's return at Manchester United. Again, just a wonderful player. His desire to keep on scoring goals. He's not here for a holiday. He's here to hopefully win a trophy. But yeah, I'm not going to go over it all again because I went through it at the beginning. But yeah, Cristiano Ronaldo's the first pick, matey. Another Portuguese lad, Fernandes. What a goal! Second pick, an assist from Pogba. But yeah, obviously keeper's right. Keeper had no chance, and I think he's going to have a big season. That's my number 2. Number 3 was difficult for me because there was a lot of sport that happened over the weekend, and something else that happened we're going to hopefully come on to a little bit later. I know I can't keep you all night because you said to me before you got to go and watch your Emmerdale, and was it a Corrie as well?
Corrie as well.
Yeah, and EastEnders. So I know you're going to do the catch up. So, but the other one was Saka scoring for England. I think after the penalty miss in the Euros, I think sometimes people forget these players are human. They are machines on the pitch, and we all look up to them. But he's a young lad, and all the abuse that he got, really winds him up. So I'm not going to get into that massively. But for him personally, scoring for England just must have given him such a lift because the whole nation was uplifted by us getting to the Euros final, and when he missed that penalty, he must have felt awful. And then to get all the abuse on social media, a lot of it racial as well, it's just disgusting. So for him personally, scoring for England, nice little header. That's my number 3.
Yeah, it was good to see his smiley face, wasn't it, Jermaine? Yeah. Because last time everyone's seen him, he's like his hands in his face. I mean, he knows like the world's on his shoulders, and he probably knew at that point, which is a sad thing, he would get a load of grief, and we know what kind of grief he got in the end, and he probably knew that, and I think everyone else knew that's what was coming, and it's just it's awful. So to see that smiling face of like banging that goal in, editing, do you mean everyone hugging him, the whole crowd sort of like up in arms? Do you mean it was definitely
good, nice. Brilliant moment for him. I was pleased for him, and he's playing really well at Arsenal as well. I know they're not doing great at the minute, but yeah, playing really well for Arsenal. So top result for England, and pleased for him on a personal note as well.
Yeah, I'll take him over to Spurs in the January transfer window.
Mate,
I'd have him.
Yeah, he's a great player. I'm surprised that in the summer no one put a bid in for him because he's a young player. He's attacking. He's got no fear. He makes things happen as well. I like players. He reminds me a little bit of Sterling. He might not always put a great ball in, or might not even come to any. Might even get tackled, but he's willing to make things happen. Just positive player. Looking to start an attack.
Yeah, I was hoping we might be able to do a little part X with Harry Winks or something. But if Paratici can pull it out the bag, the Tottenham director, I'd be happy if he could do a little swap with Winks and Saka. I'd take Saka all day long. But
we will see come January. So let's go on to your three picks.
Yeah, so
okay, good.
Well, to be honest, and it pains me again to pick it as a pick because it's a Chelsea bod and it's Tino Werner. Yeah, I think his through ball to Lukaku for Lukaku's first goal. He's split 2 defenders with like a 30-40 yard pass, and it was bang on the money. And I don't think people sort of recognise Werner for what he does in relation to that. He's always running off the ball. He makes the runs, but that pass was just something special. And to lay it onto Lukaku and Lukaku get his goal, cracking goal. Do you know what I mean? It was absolutely cracking.
Yeah, brilliant finish.
Then obviously second pick also, and it hurts because it was a Man U player. And I went for the Bruno as well because I mean with all of the songs of Ronaldo and all like the fanfare of Ronaldo, Fernandes goes around his work, doesn't he? Does his work, he gets in the positions, and he just picked the ball up, bang, clean in the top corner. Do you mean the goal? I don't know what the goalie was doing, but clean in the top corner, lovely goal, couldn't knock it, and yeah, special goal. So that'll go down for the second point.
I'm glad it was a United player.
Yeah, to be honest, it's one of those. But I mean, I saw all the goals over the weekend, and if I didn't pick it as a top goal, then I would have been a bit naughty. So it was what it was. It was a good goal, quality. I'll always hold my hands up and say quality if it's quality, regardless of what team you're playing for. So yeah, I'll give it in that one. And then my third point was it wasn't a football; it was away from football, and it was all to do with David A. And
David Hay, yeah.
I don't know if you've seen any of this stuff, but we've got this. I sort of saw it because I saw something online about David Hay and one of his mates, his bestie, who's a nightclub owner or something. This nightclub owner is his best mate, said he could, when they was talking to some birds in Ibiza or something, his mates give it the big one and said, "Oh, I could knock you out, David A, and I could do this, do that." And David A said, "All right, then we'll do a fight," and it ended up on Triller. So. Credit to David A. He had the fight with his best mate. It was always going to beat him. There was never going to be any doubt about him winning the fight. But he's won the fight. He's probably about 3 stone heavy, about 12 inches taller. Like I say, same difference between me and you and Night Tom. He kept the boy at reach, kept him at length, and won over eight rounds, 2 minute 8 rounds. But at the end of it, all of a sudden, he's lost the plot, hasn't he? And he's calling out Tyson Fury. It's like, I can do Tyson Fury. I know Fury's game plan. If there's anyone out there, it will be me that can do him. I just thought, wow, where have you come from, David A? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I saw that. I didn't watch the fight. If I've got to be honest, I've got no interest in those sort of fights. A complete mismatch. I think it's just for a pound note. I follow David Hay quite closely on social media, and I think he's been obviously spending a few quid, maybe spending a few too many. Obviously needs a payday again, but yeah, that fight, it was what it was. But to win that, you might feel great beating an opponent that you should beat, and you could probably knock out in 30 seconds if you really wanted to. But then to say I want to fight Tyson Fury, I just can't take it seriously.
Yeah, I think he forgot that he lost to Bellew twice. I think he's wiped that from his memory somehow.
I think David Hay, when you look at him, he looks like a Ferrari, but I think now he's got a moped engine. When he fought Bellew, his body fell apart. He was meant to fight Tyson Fury in 2013, 8 years ago, and since then, Fury's beaten Klitschko in his backyard. We all know what happened with Fury. It's well documented. The drink, the weight gain, then the comeback, the weight loss, the fights, the second Wilder fight where he destroyed Wilder. So I think Fury's confidence is sky high. And I don't know, I can't take it seriously in calling out Tyson Fury. I think maybe he's just doing it to stay relevant. But if it does happen, and at the moment, anything in boxing wouldn't surprise me. If it makes money, it makes sense. And I know that Fury is fighting Wilder in October, and he said himself he wants to fight again in December, and then go and fight Joshua maybe February, March, April next year at some point if they can get the deal done. So it wouldn't surprise me. Nothing does anymore. But if it did happen, I think it'd be an easy night's work for Tyson Fury. I really do.
Yeah, I think if I was Fury, I'd put it on him and say, yeah, I'm quite happy to fight you, but I want to see you fight someone prior. And if you're going to fight anyone, I want you to fight Dillian Whyte. And then, do you mean that's how I put it on him? I say, look, Fury, if you won it, if you won it, then we can make it happen. We'll put this amount of money on the table. But what I would like you to do first is have a look fight with Dillian Whyte, because then Dillian Whyte can knock him out. And then obviously once Fury's done Wilder, well, obviously Fury's got to do the fight with Joshua at some point. But I feel sorry for Dillian Whyte, because like he's in and around there. And I don't mean, how long was he sort of like waiting in the
mandatory?
Yeah, waiting in the shadows to come out and have his fight. It's ridiculous. 2 years of waiting. Do you know what I mean? So
I think that's the problem you get though when you've got a sport with multiple world champions. I don't know any other sport where you don't get 4 Olympic gold medalists, do you? Or
in the same event,
you don't get 5 teams that win the league or whatever. So I think WBA, WBO, IBF, whatever. There's so many different governing bodies, and I think that makes it difficult. and he's waited so long for his chance, and of course losing to Povetkin, and then had to beat him in the rematch, set him back. But then you look at Usyk, he was cruiserweight, undisputed, jumps up, can't remember the first bloke he beat, then he beat Derek Chisora, and now he's fighting Joshua. So it seems like some fighters have an easier route to the to title fights. But yeah, no, I'd like. Yeah, I want to see all these fights happen. But do you want to see Haig really fight again, or what do you think? Do you think he's being serious? Do you take it seriously, or do you think it's just him trying to be relevant?
I think I think like he's just sort of, he's had a fight and the adrenaline was sort of like pumping through his veins still, and he's forgot where he was. He's forgot who he was. He thought he was like probably 10 years younger than what he is. But I mean, it was one of those. And also, I think the sad thing on that evening was I saw something. I wasn't really expecting it. So obviously I was aware of Hay, and I wanted to see this Hay thing because I just wanted to see what's going to happen. It just caught my imagination a little bit. I wanted to see. Half of me was hoping that his mate was going to knock out David A, but it didn't happen. So David A come out on top. But I think the saddest thing about the whole evening was then I found out that Evander Holyfield was fighting, and obviously Evander's 58 and he's fighting Vitor Belfort, who's a 44-year-old ex UCF fighter. And do you mean I thought it was going to be an exhibition fight. I thought, right, okay, these two are going to go and fight. Do you mean Evander Holyfield? He looks for a 58-year-old, he looked like an absolute specimen. You thought, wow, he looks something. But as soon as the bell started, first bell, he was like lethargic. He was moving like a 58-year-old man. And Vitor Belfort, he went into him as if he was like, do you mean a full-on fight? He's gone in there to absolutely do him some damage. And he caught him with a horrific uppercut. And sort of like at that point, you thought to myself, this isn't quite right. This isn't an exhibition. And Vitor Belfort just absolutely went in there and absolutely mullered him for about a minute and a half, and the fight was stopped. And it was sickening because I'm thinking, do you mean who is sanctioning these fights? Who, if Evander Holyfield got knocked out and didn't wake up, or do you mean had a brain hemorrhage or tumor, it would just not been right. And I look back and think of Evander Holyfield. I think of the two fights with Riddick Bowe, the fights with Lennox Lewis, and the ones with Tyson. If you ever want to watch a boxing match and sit down and spend an evening watching a boxing match, watch the two Riddick Bowe versus Holyfield fights. You won't have seen fights like it. And I mean, he was a small man. He was like a cruiserweight, undefeated cruiserweight, who went up to take on heavyweights. And it was almost like David and Goliath when he fought with Riddick Bowe. And when I think about that fight, it's sort of like it brings up goosebumps because it was such an enthralling fight. And I would say to anyone who's watching this video, once you've watched the video, go and have a look at those two fights, because I mean it will be a proper fight. And it was just a sad thing to see. The Vitor Belfort, when he won, he was sort of like going around the ring, he was hugging his wife, his children. He was like celebrating, as if he was like just knocked out in prime Holyfield. It was, I mean, that was a sad thing. It sort of, I didn't like it, to be honest.
I agree. It makes you question the integrity of people involved in boxing sometimes. Like you were saying, how are these fights being sanctioned? How are these boxers getting how are you getting a boxing license at nearly 60 years old?
It's 58.
You think as well, this is a boxing match. The main objective is to knock your opponent unconscious, to frazzle their brain to a point where it can't function for a second, and that's why you collapse, because you've got no function. To sanction that fight again, it comes down to a pound note. If it makes money in that world, it makes sense. And I didn't watch that highlight because, again, I've got no interest in those fights. These people are legends because they've done something amazing in the sport and they've retired, and they are legends like your Tysons, Lennox Lewis, and so on and so forth. But when they come back, it's crazy. But I listened to a good interview actually, Shane, on IFL with Gareth A. Davies.
Right.
And apparently he interviewed him a few years ago, and he said, why are you still fighting? And he basically said, because I need the money. Apparently he's got quite a few children, and by all means I think they're costing him a lot of money. But yeah, getting in the ring at nearly 60 years old, like you were saying, until someone gets badly hurt, these things are going to carry on. And I watched the Hay highlights, and honestly, there was more atmosphere in the library. There's no cheering. It was dead. But
I
yeah,
think what people worked out with the Hay fight, it was just a money maker for the two of them at the end of the day. Do you mean? And that's what it was. But that's why, and I think to be honest, I saw David Hay at the end of his fight. He was having an interview with Michelle Phelps, and it was about, he was sort of like discussing the Holyfield fight. She sort of said, "Well, what did you think about the Holyfield fight?" And he said that he spoke to Vitor Belfort before the fight, and he said, "Oh, so what's it going to be like? It's going to be an exhibition then, is it?" And like Belfort said, "Yeah, it's just going to be an exhibition." And David A was sort of like, he was disgusted as well at the outcome. He just couldn't believe it himself that he took it to that extent to go and give it to a 58-year-old. But at the end of the day, like you said, it's about the money. Obviously, Evander's, he's got good money out of it, but you just think there's people out there with no scruples that sort of like putting a suggestion in his head and is sort of putting him in that position. Do you know what I mean? Someone put him in that position to make money off the back of him at the end of the day, and I think that's the thing that I can't handle. And I wouldn't want to see him back in the ring again. Do you know what I mean? Definitely not.
No, I agree. But the thing is as well, how do you have a friendly fight? You're punching each other in the face. I know it's all well and good, David Hay coming out and saying, I didn't like that, but it's a boxing match. Again, it's a combat sport. If John McEnroe and not massive tennis, I've got a lot of knowledge, but one of the was it Jimmy Connors?
Yeah.
If they decided to put a tennis match on, at some point, people would watch it. No one's getting hurt. They would. But when you're boxing, it's got that extra level of interest because it is a fight. Someone may get knocked out. As much as we don't want to see it, someone might get really hurt, and it's sad. But people are interested in that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think that was the thing. So like with the Evander Holyfield thing, I think it caught me by surprise that it was actually there. And when I actually clicked on it to see it, I thought, what's going to happen here? And then it was just, it was a wrong one in my book, to be honest. But that's the boxing. But I think there was obviously there was some definite big highlights though, like to finish it off. And I think you probably got a bit more about that one. But like that was the sort of like the sad sort of side of a legend. But I think we may well have started to witness the beginning of a new legend, haven't we?
Absolutely. The tennis. Again, not huge tennis. I am a tennis fan, but not got extensive knowledge of tennis. However, this 18-year-old, I want to say lady, she's so young, and to go and win the US Open at 18 years old is absolutely incredible. Emma, how do you say the surname? I will literally make myself look silly.
Yeah, Emma Raducanu.
Yeah, thank you. She's 18 years old, from Kent as well, same county as us. So to go to the US Open, and I think as well, she didn't even drop a set. So it's like having a football tournament, I suppose, and not conceding a goal.
Yeah, I think her qualifying for it. So from the beginning of that tournament, she went 10 games without dropping a set, which is phenomenal.
It's crazy. That's right, because she had to have 3 qualifying matches even to get into the tournament. But to be so young, to do so well, incredible achievement, incredible for the country, and hopefully she goes on to big things. But really impressive. It to not drop a set, absolutely brilliant. And I think it's almost helping her that she is so young. Maybe she's fearless. She doesn't maybe feel the pressure as much. Maybe I'm not 100% sure. But sometimes when you're young, you just go out there and you don't overthink it. You just go for it. A bit like when Wayne Rooney first come on the scene, he always had this sort of swagger about him that when you watched him, he was just like playing football down the park with his mates. He didn't care that there was 70,000 people in the stadium. He was there just to play football. And maybe I don't know, she has that mentality. I'm here just to play tennis. But 18 years old to win a slam, to not drop a set. Was it the first lady since, was it Virginia Wade to?
Yeah, 77. So 77, Virginia Wade done it. So, but I mean, she was. I saw it. Obviously, I watched her in Wimbledon, and obviously, she was doing well in Wimbledon. Obviously, she had to pull out the quarters because like some breathing difficulties, which obviously was probably quite scary for her and everything. And then she's obviously gone into this one. But when I saw her, the thing that I picked up on her was everything she did with like conviction. Do you mean she every stroke, every shot she played, it was like there was no second thought about what she's going to do. Everything was with conviction. She almost like there was a confidence about her when she was knocking the ball about the court. It was almost like she knew what was going to happen next. She almost knew what the shot was coming back at her. It seemed like she was like a step ahead, and it was the conviction. Yeah, it was just amazing. She was tenacious. She went about it. She didn't let. She was the. We might as well call she was the governor. Really, that's when she got on there. That's how she performed. It was a bit like that. And if you think also what she's doing as like a young 18-year-old girl, she's just going to inspire so many sort of girls out there to get up and play tennis. Do you mean anyone can go and find a tennis court and they can go out and knock the ball about? It's not one of these sort of like elite sports like motorsports where you've got to have a bit of money behind you to get in there. Do you mean? So she will inspire people. She will inspire young girls to go out, get a tennis racket. And do you mean if she can do it and she's from, Bromley, Kent, then there's loads of girls going to think that they can go out and do it. And to have a role model like that, it's just, it's another good thing. The blokes have got so many role models out there, haven't they, for the blokes to follow. It seems like the girls that they've got a bit more now. They got the football, the WSL, they got the cricket, the 100. It seems there's a lot more platforms, isn't there, for the girls to actually go out and do something. So I've got two boys, but if I had two young girls, for them to grow up and see that sort of performance, I would take that. So yeah, massive congratulations to her.
Yeah, no, incredible achievement. And if she can inspire even a few people to pick up a racket and go to a tennis club and play, then even better. And I just hope that she continues. The only thing worries me, but the only thing I think that over the years it seems like women's tennis, it's not. When you think of men's tennis, last sort of decade, you almost think, okay, Djokovic, Nadal, Federer, of course, Murray, a few years ago before his injuries, and you'd sort of, more or less every slam it'd be one of those that won. You'd have the exception where someone else had a good tournament and would win. I just hope that we don't put too much pressure on her young shoulders, because it's great what she's done, but of course if she went to the next tournament and didn't do so well, the British public are quite quick to change their opinion, change their mindset. So hopefully, not too much pressure on her, but nevertheless a great achievement, and hopefully there's first of many to come.
Yeah, I think, to be honest, I think she's got it in her to become, a bit of a star. To be honest, I think, the way she plays her game, she goes about her business. It's almost, she's got that sort of, and it's a comparison, but she's almost got that similar belief, I think, in her game as what the greats have. So Ronaldo, he thinks he can go out and do something. Messi, sports people that think they can do something and they do it week in, week out. I think this girl is probably going to go along those lines. Do you mean?
Yeah, no, of course. When you look at when I think of the greatest sports people in recent history, Michael Phelps, just unbelievable swimmer, most decorated Olympian, swam at multiple Olympics, won more gold medals sometimes than some countries. Michael Jordan, of course. Have you seen it? If you've not seen it, the Last Dance documentary, really worth a watch. Have you seen it?
Not yet. I'll have a look at that.
That's brilliant. Ronaldo. It's hard to say. Obviously, Messi's got it, but of course, we don't really hear a lot because I don't think he does many interviews, and obviously, I don't speak English. I don't think. Yeah, people like that. Usain Bolt. It sometimes seems like arrogance, but I think it is a little bit of that, but more confidence. But I think all the top people have got it because in their heads they are the best at their chosen sport. And hopefully this young girl is like that as well, because I'd love to see her go to Wimbledon and win a slam. Winning Wimbledon would be amazing.
Yeah, I said it's a mugs game betting, but I might put a little bit of money on her to do Wimbledon.
Well, the odds will be slashed now, though, mate. since Leicester won the league, odds. I think they were 5,000 to 1. And I remember there was a few people that had a bet on them winning the league, and as it was getting closer and closer and closer, there was the option to cash out. But I think a few people kept their bet on. I think someone put a fiver and won obviously loads and loads of money. But since that happened, I think they ruined it for everyone, because every time I go to put a bet on, even I think, I put that won't probably happen, but I just do it because you never know. But yeah, hopefully, mate, she'll go and do some things. But maybe you need to put on a bit more of a precise bet, like a set or how many games or something like that, to increase your prize money.
Increase the winnings. Yeah,
absolutely. But no, yeah, great achievement, mate. Been a busy couple of weeks of sport.
Better off.
Sorry.
And she was £1 million better off. It's not bad.
How much she won? £1 million.
Yeah, not bad for 3 weeks work, is it?
How many games did she play? So she played 3 to qualify.
Yeah.
And 7 in the slam, yeah?
Yeah.
So £100,000 a match.
Yeah, not bad, is it?
We're doing the wrong thing, son.
The wrong game.
But of course, this is one of the biggest sporting sort of platforms, so we are talking about, of course.
Exactly.
But no, 100,000. When you break it down, £100,000 a match, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, so that's the only thing. It's like, again, I bet she's probably managed quite well, as long as she keeps her feet on the floor. Do you mean she don't go out, start going out on the lash? Do you mean?
I think Tim Henman works quite close. Apparently, Tim Henman's very close friends with her coach. I think Tim Henman has a big involvement with her career, and he's always seemed quite a level-headed guy, not someone to do too much partying. So I think if she's got good people around her, then there's no reason why she can't go on and do great things.
You don't get much squarer than Tim, I don't think.
I like Tim Henman. I think he didn't win any slams, but I liked it when he played back in the day.
Yeah.
But it reminds me of with boxers when they talk about getting out of bed for their 4 or 5 o'clock morning runs in their silk pajamas. We got millions in the bank. It gets harder to go out and train, when you're so comfortable.
Exactly. So Everton, just a little score flash there. Just see Everton.
Go on then. Go on.
1 at the minute.
What's the score?
Everton 1, Burnley 1 at the minute.
Okay.
Who do you reckon's going to win that one?
Everton 2-1. Oh, is it at Burnley or at Everton?
Is that Everton?
Yeah, 2-1 Everton. I reckon they get a late winner.
Everton just equalised. So yeah, so 1-1.
Okay.
So who scored? I'll let you know in a minute.
Jeff Stelling opposite me.
I think the old earpiece is working a bit too slow at the minute.
Yeah. Oh, don't worry about it, mate. If you can't
so it was Keane scored. Keane scored the equaliser. Me scored 53rd minute. Keane scored the 60th minute.
Yeah, I think Everton will come back and win it 2-1. I'm going with under Benitez now.
So what I was just wanting to do was I just wanted to have a look at what the fixtures are for next weekend.
Okay, matey.
I thought what we might do is just like a little prediction on that. So just wait to get some information up for that one.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, like I say, it is difficult to predict now. Anyone can beat anyone on a day.
Yeah, I'm just going to wonder who gets the most correct scores for next weekend. Will it be me? Will it be Tom? This is the question.
Well, if you ever work out how to use a phone, you might be able to get them up.
I'm getting there slowly.
Have you turned it on yet?
Oh, it's not on there yet. Hold on, here he comes.
Where's the on button?
There we go. Let's have a look then. Right. For starters, then, we obviously know that Spurs are going to beat Chelsea next weekend.
Is that your place or their place?
That's Spurs, isn't it? That's a home banker. That one.
I'll go 2-1 Chelsea.
Right, Tom 2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to go.
Sorry to say it, mate.
I'm going to go 3-2 Spurs. 3-2 Spurs.
I like your optimism, but I can't see it happening. I really can't.
Wolves Brentford. Wolves are at home.
1-1.
1-0.
Yeah, what are you going with?
I'm going to go for a Brentford away win. I won't give a score. I'll go for a Brentford away win.
You're not going to give a score?
Go on then. I'll go 2-1 Brentford.
Okay. We're not going to hold you to it. It doesn't matter if it doesn't happen.
Burnley, Arsenal. Burnley at home.
2-2.
I'm going to go for a Burnley win. I'm going to go Arsenal get bullied at Burnley. 2-0 Burnley.
Okay.
Liverpool Palace. Liverpool at home.
3-1 Liverpool.
Yeah, I'll go with that one. 3-1. I'll match you on that one.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Man City, Southampton. Man City at home.
3-0 City.
With no striker. I'll go.
Yeah, no, they beat Southampton. I think they'll score a few. Yeah, 3-0.
2-1.
2-1
Norwich.
City.
Yeah, 2-1 to City.
Okay.
Norwich Watford.
Ooh, that's a tough one to call. Neither of them are scoring any goals, are they?
Nah.
I'll go 1-0 again.
Gonna go 1-0.
Gonna go 1-0.
I'm gonna go 3-1 Norwich.
Okay.
I'm gonna go big one on that one. Aston Villa Everton. Aston Villa at home.
Ooh.
Tricky game, that one. Live on Sky.
Live on Sky. Okay. 2-2.
Villa win 2-1.
Okay.
Brighton Leicester. Brighton at home.
Leicester 3-1. Jamie Vardy will get a couple, I reckon.
Gonna go 2-1 Brighton.
Okay.
Here we go. The big one. West Ham at home against Man U.
I think we're doing the way we're playing at the moment. I think who's their striker? I can't remember his name. Big bloke.
Yeah, it comes to me in a minute.
Got sent off, didn't he? He's not playing. I'm going to go United 3-1. I think we turn up, do a job on West Ham. I think Ronaldo will score again as well.
2-2. 2-2.
Okay.
2-2 on that one. And
I'm hoping United will still be top of the league when we next speak.
Maybe. Depends. I think, as I say, with Spurs Chelsea, Spurs at home, Spurs to win. And I think that's the roundup, really, isn't it?
Yeah, mate. Busy weekend in sport. Obviously, we've covered the highlights from the weekend. We've chosen the moments that stand out to us the most. And we have gone over a bit of boxing, predictions for next week. Yes, mate, we've covered off quite a bit.
Definitely. And did you notice I've gone Ajax this weekend?
Ajax?
We've gone Ajax. I've had to relive like the Ajax connection of like the Erikssons and Alderweireld, Vertonghen. Just like it gave me a little bit of relief. Do you mean after the weekend's result against Palace? I thought, yeah, back in those days, isn't it?
Oh, okay, so you'll be wearing an Arsenal shirt next weekend, then, will you?
No way. I'll be wearing the Spurs top next week. After when we do Chelsea, it will be Tottenham top for sure.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry, Chelsea, not Arsenal. What am I talking about? I think we've been on there too long now. So yeah, no, covered it all off, mate. Anything else you'd like to add?
I think that's about it, Tom. Do you mean I'm behind on Emmerdale Corrie and EastEnders now? It's taken me a bit of a while to get through tonight, but yeah, I think we smashed it again this evening. Like I said earlier, anyone who's watching the film, if you want to watch a good fight, do have a look at the Riddick Bowe Holyfield first fight. Then have a look at the second one. You won't regret it. And like, if you've not seen it before, you'll remember it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna have a look at that when I get a minute, probably tomorrow now. But yeah, no, thanks for coming on again, matey. Appreciate it. It's well weird. I felt proper nervous tonight doing this. I don't know why, because it's just a conversation. But we had a couple of I had to turn it off after the first couple of goes. But yeah, no, all good. And if you are watching this, thanks a lot for watching for this long. We're going to hopefully upload every single Monday. We're going to talk about the highlights of the football and anything else going on that stands out for us in the sporting world.
That's goodbye from me then, Tom.
All right, then, matey. Well, thanks a lot, and I will see you soon. Have a good evening, Shano.
You too, mate. Later.
See
Bye.
you later.
Bye, everyone.